Anthony's journey to success was remarkable. Born into a wealthy family, he and his younger sister Joanne enjoyed a life of love and luxury. Despite their age difference, Anthony was very close to Joanne and treated her with great care and love. Their happy life ended when their parents' business failed. Unable to pay their debt, they lost all their wealth. Distress led to their father having a fatal heart attack. Overcome with grief, their mother passed away the next year due to depression. Anthony and Joanne were left alone with nothing. Anthony worked multiple jobs to complete his university. His hard work paid off when he graduated with honors in computer science. He was hired by a tech firm in Lagos and quickly rose through the ranks to become a highly sought after tech specialist. Life had returned to its former beauty. They had journeyed from wealth to sufferness back to wealth. His luxurious apartment, adorned with the latest gadgets and tasteful decor, stood as an evidence to his hard work. True to his promise to Joanne, he ensured that she had everything she needed just as their father provided. Years passed. Joanne was now in her 400 level at the Imo State University. She was proud of how their lives had transformed once again. She deeply admired her brother's resilience, often drawing inspiration from him. During a short holiday in school, Joanne decided to visit her brother in Lagos. Before finalizing her plans, she called her brother to inform him that she would be bringing her best friend Chidima along. Anthony welcomed the idea if that would make her happy. Joanne and Chidima were eagerly preparing for the trip to Lagos to visit Anthony. The anticipation of seeing her brother and the excitement of sharing this experience with her best friend had Joanne in high spirits. For Chidima, who had heard endless stories about Anthony's success, resilience, and the luxurious life he had built, the trip felt almost like an adventure. Chidima was particularly overexcited and threw herself into preparations that amused Joanne. She went shopping for new clothes, bags, and shoes, selecting outfits like she was going for a special date. She wanted to make a good impression on Anthony, the man who had become something of a legend in their conversations. Joanne found Chidima's effort both endearing and entertaining, often laughing at her friend's seriousness as she packed and repacked her suitcase multiple times, ensuring she had everything she needed for every potential outing. Joanne couldn't hold back herself. She shouted, Chidima, it's just a visit to see my brother, oh, not a fashion show. I know, but I want to look my best. Anthony sounds amazing, and I can't wait to meet him. Chidima replied, plus Lagos is a big city, and I want to fit in. Joanne shook her head, smiling. Now, wow, my brother is now a celebrity. They spent the days leading up to the departure discussing their plans, what they hoped to see, the places they wanted to visit. Joanne assured Chidima that Anthony would take them to lovely places. The day of their departure finally arrived. Joanne and Chidima boarded the bus to Lagos. The journey was filled with laughter, stories, and occasional naps as they imagined the experiences that awaited them. When they finally arrived Lagos, the bustling city greeted them with its vibrant energy and dynamic pace. Eko Onibaje. This was the first time of Chidima in Lagos. She was so excited exploring another state. Anthony's apartment was located in the prime area of the city, a place for the wealthy elite. When they finally approached his apartment, Joanne was overexcited. She rang the bell and moments later, Anthony opened the door. Chidima couldn't behold her eyes. A tall, fair and handsome man stood in front of her. Joanne immediately jumped on her brother and gave him a big hug. They settled in and Chidima couldn't get over Anthony's good looks and the beautiful apartment interiors. Anthony offered them drinks and snacks, making sure they were comfortable. So how was the journey? Anthony asked. It was great, Joanne replied. We talked the whole way and made plans for what we're going to do while we are here. Anthony smiled. I'm glad to hear that, but first you need to rest. In the evening, Anthony took them out to a popular restaurant in the city. The place was buzzing with activities and the food was exquisite. Chidima was in shock of the vibrant nightlife and the variety of people and cultures that Lagos had to offer. The next day, the house felt like Anthony wasn't in it. He was engrossed with his work and had no time to chat with them or take them out. On a bright Saturday morning, Chidima woke up early, her mind buzzing with excitement of another day in Lagos. Joanne was still asleep, so Chidima decided to explore the apartment quietly. While she was walking and admiring the beautiful interiors, she was drawn to the sound of a soft jazz music coming from a room she hadn't visited yet. She found herself at the entrance of Anthony's private bar. The bar was filled with collections of bottles, and Anthony was seated on the bar stool, sipping his glass of wine. Good morning, Anthony, Chidima greeted. Anthony looked up. Good morning, Chidima. You're up already. How was your night? Chidima replied, very well, thank you. You have an amazing collections of wine here. Anthony smiled at her. What are you drinking? Chidima asked. This is Chardonnay, one of my favorites, he said. Chidima recognized the wine. A Chardonnay from California. It's known for its butterfly texture and flavors of ripe apple, vanilla, and a hint of oak from barrel aging. Anthony raised his eyebrows. How do you know so much about wine? Chidima smiled. I love reading and researching things. Whenever I come across something interesting, I dive into it until I understand it completely. Wine has always fascinated me, so I read about it a lot. Anthony wasn't only surprised, but admired her knowledge on things. That's amazing. Not many people take time to learn about the things they enjoy. It's a rare quality. Chidima blushed. Thank you. As the days passed, Chidima couldn't help but feel a growing admiration for Anthony. She admired everything about him and how he loves his sister. Anthony, however, saw Chidima as his sister's best friend and someone with an interesting qualities. He admired her respectful nature, intelligence, and her curiosity on things. While in the room, Chidima suggested a movie night at home for the three of them. Joanne was excited about the suggestion. She informed her brother about it and he liked the idea. That night, Chidima appeared so beautiful. She selected a romantic film and sat directly opposite Anthony, hoping he would get carried away by her good looks. Throughout the movie, she stole glances at him, but Anthony was engrossed in the film. He didn't even notice her there. Even after the movie ended, she was very disappointed, but hid her feelings. Their stay in Lagos was gradually coming to an end. Chidima and Joanne prepared to return to the university, but Chidima's feelings for Anthony had only deepened. She found it increasingly difficult to ignore her growing feelings. Meanwhile, Anthony was unaware of her feelings. When they got back to school, Chidima found herself comparing every man who showed interest in her to Anthony. None of them measured up to his standard. She paid them no attention and discharged them instantly. Her friendship with Joanne remained strong. Joanne noticed how she became very unfriendly and unentertaining to guys that asked her out. Chidima kept her feelings for Anthony a secret from Joanne, fearing it might jeopardize the friendship. She became more focused on her studies, hoping to keep herself for Anthony. Despite the attention she received from other men, her heart remained with Anthony. Anthony, on the other hand, experienced a series of failed relationships. Despite his success and charms, he struggled to find a woman who shared his values and could match up to his intellect and curiosity. He often thought of Chidima and the engaging conversations they had, but he dismissed the thought. One fateful day, Chidima couldn't bear to keep her feelings to herself any longer. She approached Joanne, hoping for an advice, but a bit skeptical. Joanne noticed Chidima's unusual behavior and asked what was the problem. Chidima opened up to her. Joanne, there is something I need to tell you. It's about your brother Anthony. I think I've fallen in love with him. Joanne smiled. Sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say again? Joanne laughed and said, I suspected it. Chidima, your behavior towards guys changed immediately we got back. You asked of my brother often. Like I suspected it, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't ask. But you know you should tell my brother about how you feel towards him rather than die in silence. Why don't you call him? Joanne punched her brother's number into Chidima's phone. Thank you so much for understanding, Joanne. I thought you'd be angry. Joanne replied, angry about what? The heart wants what it wants. That day, when Chidima got home, she sat on her sofa, holding her phone. She took a deep breath. She dialed the number. Hello? Hello, Anthony, it's Chidima, she replied. Chidima, it's great to hear from you. How are you? I'm good, thank you. I just wanted to check on you and see how you're doing. Anthony replied, I'm doing great, thank you, Chidima. How is studies? Great, thank you, Chidima responded. I'm looking forward to your convocation, Anthony said. Really? That's so nice, thank you so much. You don't have to. I won't miss it for anything. You and my sister are very important to me. Send me your account details. I would like to say something for your convocation, Anthony said. Chidima was so touched by his generosity. Thank you so much, Anthony. I appreciate it more than I can say. No need to thank me. You deserve it, Anthony replied. When the call ended, Chidima's heart lightened and she couldn't wait for her convocation. Months passed, their convocation approached. Anthony graced the beautiful event. In celebrating Joanne and Chidima, He booked a luxurious hotel where they could relax and enjoy baby girl's treatment. Joanne and Chidima shared a room while Anthony had a separate room to himself. He plans to spend 3 days with them before returning to Lagos. One evening, as Anthony relaxed in his room, Joanne knocked on his door, entered and asked, "Anthony, can we talk?" "Of course, Joanne. What's on your mind?" Anthony replied. She took a deep breath and said, "It's about my friend, Chidima. Brother, she really likes you. Chidima likes you. She has feelings for you. Because of you, she turned guys that asked her out, even serious men." Anthony was surprised. "Really? Chidima likes me?" "Yes, brother, she loves you. She even used your name as a password to her phone. I came to tell you this because Chidima is a very shy girl. She would rather live with the feelings than express them. And she'll be traveling to Abuja soon. So I wanted to let you know about it. She's really a nice person. And I didn't tell her I was coming to do this, brother." Anthony's heart swelled with a mixture of disbelief and joy. "I've heard you, Joanne. Thanks for telling me this. Truth be told, I like her too. The qualities in her draws me to her more and more. Her intelligence, curiosity, her beauty, everything about her interests me." Joanne couldn't contain her excitement. She started screaming on top of her voice. "Stop it, Joanne," Anthony said with a chuckle. "I'm happy to hear this, brother. Like, I won't tell her anything. It will come as a surprise to her," Joanne said. That evening, Anthony couldn't shake off the overwhelming desire to express his feelings to Chidima. He knocked on her door and entered. Chidima was surprised to see him in her room. She greeted him and they stood face to face. Anthony took a deep breath, summoning courage to talk. "Chidima, there is something I need to tell you. Joanne shared something with me today, something that took me by surprise, but also filled my heart with joy. She told me about your feelings for me, and I want to know if that's true." Chidima was surprised on hearing that. She never knew her friend went behind her back to tell Anthony. Chidima replied with a low voice, "Yes, I like you, Anthony." Anthony continued, "I feel the same way about you. From the moment I met you, Chidima, I've been drawn to you in ways I can't explain. Your intelligence, your beauty, your kindness captivated me in ways I never thought possible. I want you in my life, Chidima. Let's do this together." Chidima's heart raised as she listened to Anthony's heartfelt confession. She had always hoped and prayed for Anthony to love her, and here he was, standing before her, pouring out his heart in the most beautiful way ever. "Anthony, I don't know what to say. You're all I prayed for. You filled my heart with so much happiness and love, and I can't wait to show you how much I love you." Anthony smiled, looking into her eyes. "Chidima, you've brought so much light into my life. I want to be with you, to cherish and love you unconditionally with all my heart." They hugged each other. Duane walked in and cheered them up. Anthony and Chidima embarked on a new chapter of their lives, filled with love, laughter, and endless possibilities. Thank you so very much, guys, for watching. Hope you enjoyed this story. Please do also like, share, and subscribe to Substance TV for more amazing stories, movie reviews, recommendations, and trends. See you guys in my next video. Until then, stay splendid.